Hello and welcome to the Epic Trash Podcast, a podcast about all things gaming, news, video games, other such things.
Vegemite.
That's
what they reminded me.
Absolutely. I'm your host here, Bruce, with my co-hosts, Thumbstick and D-Pad, Chris and Crow.
Thumbstick and D-Pad?
Yeah.
Is that our aliases?
For now. We'll see about next week, but for this week,
D-Pad.
I don't know. That's for you guys to decide.
Thumbstick?
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right. Anyways, as always, hit us up with any feedback or questions, anything you got for us at our email, epictrash@groupmail.com, and hit us up on our Twitter for the question of the week and the challenge of the week. That's going to all be there at Epic Trash Show. And don't forget to sub on YouTube. That's where you're watching it right now, so press the button.
On Epic Trash.
Epic Trash. So yeah. Also, we're going to have the... Why are you laughing?
I just keep doing cross-eyed faces.
Okay, fair enough. So we're going to have the show broke down into timestamps in the comment section, so you can just click on that to go to the stories that interest you the most. So
yeah, because the timestamps on... I just want to say it because I feel like I have to say it.
Please
don't remember on timestamps.
If you're... Yeah, it's not going to take very long.
yeah, it's fine. No, you're good.
Unless I keep getting it. So if you watch on PC, you can click on the timestamps in the description box, but for whatever reason, if you're on mobile, I will comment with all the timestamps in the comment section, and then they'll be clickable from a mobile device too. But because for whatever reason, the mobile device, you can't click on them in a description box. So if you want to skip any segment or go, if you're only interested in one thing, look at the timestamps, look at what we're talking about, and then go watch what you want to watch.
Absolutely.
Fix your app, YouTube.
Yeah. So anyways, question of the week this week is what games did you most enjoy in this past month of February? And our challenge of the week is going to be to send us any clip of you playing Metro Exodus. So send it our way, we'll throw it on the show.
Yeah,
give you a shout
so
out.
The questions you can comment right on YouTube, and then for the challenge of the week, send it to our Twitter.
Or email.
At Epic Trash and epictrash@groupmail.com.
Yeah.
I had an actual challenge, but they turned it down because we don't have enough viewers right now.
Apparently our challenges are too hard because no one's submitting anything.
Yeah, I think they have been really hard.
So we'll give you a really hard one if you're feeling itchy. He'll give you the hard mode at the end of the show. I know you got to get all the way through the show first in order to see. So don't skip ahead; that's illegal.
Right. So
that's cheating. We'll know.
Yeah. So our question of the week.
Will know.
Yeah, he knows everything.
He does.
So our question of the week is: what games did you most enjoy in February? And our challenge of the week is just to send us a clip of you playing Metro Exodus, doing whatever there is to be done,
and shouting Epic Trash.
And please shout Epic Trash.
Right. And now into the news trash can.
Oscar the Grouch should be our
Don't forget though too that we do still have like the thing always weekly is that sending your trash moments in games.
Yes.
That's always weekly.
Please send us any garbage plays that you've done that were like epic fails. Send them our way.
If we get enough, we'll make that into our
We'll make
intro.
a T-shirt. Merch coming soon.
Merch, absolutely.
And we'll totally make it into our intro. That'd be a really cool intro.
Yeah, I think if we had a collage of gamers
like
screaming Epic Trash.
Oh my god, that'd be so
It
good.
would just be the collage.
Help us out, guys.
Mixed with like just video footage of them like screwing up royally.
Well, you know how perfect example is Pew News. You know how he has the and then it's like all those a little montage.
Right. We just need a little jingle and that the screaming in the background, the screeching. Perfect. All right, so
news.
On to the news. The trash barrel. I don't know what do we call it? I don't know.
Trash barrel sounds pretty good.
Okay, so
the dumpster.
So World War Z, they dropped their price, and they're saying it's because the Epic Game Store is giving them, because the Epic Game Store is only taking a 13% cut instead of a 30% cut like on Steam. So he, the CEO of the World War Z game, the studio that's making World War Z, said that we chose Epic Game Store because we believe it's the best deal for players and developers. They dropped the price down from $39.99 to $34.99, so it's a $5 savings, but he passed it directly on. He said First of all, building games is costly, and so to receive 88% instead of 70% means we can invest more into making World War Z. Second, we're passing along much of the savings to you as gamers. The price of World War Z on the Epic Games Store is being dropped to $34.99 starting now and continuing on through April 16th, launch and beyond. Any players who have already pre-purchased the game for $40 will get the $5 refunded back to them. We're thrilled to be able to share the developer-friendly benefits of the Epic Games Store with you all and can't wait for you to play our game.
Well, silver lining.
Yeah. World War Z actually looks really cool. I was just looking it up again because I know there's another like zombie survivor game. Mm-hmm. But I actually like the way I saw some of like the gameplay when they were releasing videos like months ago.
Yeah.
And like it looks really dope. There's the scenarios and the situations they put you in, and then they did a lot with like the zombie mechanics of zombies, same as in the movie, of like kind of starting to pyramid on each other to get to you. And it's pretty much like no matter what's in the way, it's like they're gonna get to you,
right?
Given they have enough people or enough zombies in the horde, which I really like.
And that's like based off the movie, right?
Yeah, because it was the same thing in the movie with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I remember watching that. That was really good because it was like genuinely horrifying because there's
there'll never be a sequel to that movie.
Yeah,
but that was kind of the first time somebody put that spin. I mean, or at least that many zombies at that, I guess, intense level of intensity. But it kind of also reminded me of one of my favorite zombie movies, which was the 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later.
So it also had the fast zombies.
Right, but they were never in that I don't think they ever really had that amount of zombies in the same place.
Right.
Or at least to the point of where they're climbing on top of each other.
Yeah, like those army ants or whatever, where they can make bridges across water and stuff.
My go-to for zombies is always Night of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah, that's like the original one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, I was surprised when I watched that movie how gory it was. Like the black and white makes it so much better.
I was literally raised on that movie. It was one of my mother's favorites, and we would watch it together.
Yeah, it's a good one.
When I was like 5 years old.
What a classic! R.I.P. George Romero. Will be missed.
Right.
Other
new games, kind of new games. We're going to talk about Apex Legends, and they have a new season coming out. They're going to be in season 1. They also have a big update coming out in March. And so what I want to talk about was there's 2 new characters that are going to be released called Octane and Watson. People are speculating that Octane is the most likely candidate because of the amount of information that's out about him. But I also feel like at this point today, there's a lot of information out about Watson too. And I mean, all there really is their abilities. And so Octane has like a stim pack ability. And so it's going to be something, or at least people are speculating that it's going to be something like a speed booster that can potentially heal life over time, which would be really helpful in the game because it's already a lot based, upon speed. So, and then Watson has a Tesla trip, which is speculated to make it harder for your enemies to follow you. So maybe it's some kind of like trip wire or something like that. So when your enemies are if you're trying to escape, it's going to slow them down. There's also another character that isn't confirmed, but it's said that through data mining, people have found him, and his name is called Prophet, and he has an ability called Precog, which nobody knows what it is, but it's potentially going to be something that has to do with revealing some part of the map or an event that we don't really know about yet. And then so that's going to come. Hopefully, one is going to come in March, and then the season's going to start in March, and then the other big thing that's going on right now is Pathfinder, the Apex Legend character Pathfinder. His hitboxes are like all messed up, so his hitboxes are a lot larger than the other characters.
Oh, really?
And so they need to update and fix that. And then the development team from Respawn said that they know about it, they're aware about it, and they're going to start working on it.
Okay.
And then the new thing, too, is that they're coming out with is the Battle Pass for Apex, which is going to be something that people can purchase. Nobody knows exactly what's going to be involved with it, but it's most likely that the characters aren't going to be affected because they had the 2 characters upon launch that were unlockable with in-game currency, and you could also buy them by purchasing the Apex coins. So it's most likely that maybe potentially if you purchase the Battle Pass, you're going to have access to those characters immediately because you're probably going to get Apex coins every season or something, I would assume, if you're part of that subscription.
One can hope.
Yeah. But most likely, and nobody knows yet, but I'm thinking most likely it's going to be mostly like cosmetics and, basically skins and gun skins and then like the banners and then the different things that each of the characters say when they like come into the game or the finishers and mostly basically cosmetic stuff. Well, you played, so there's like a lot of little different cosmetic items that you can change and stuff like that.
Surprising amount of stuff, honestly.
So the battle pass shouldn't affect the new characters, but I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't see why they would because it's the free to play game. I don't know why they would release characters and then make them only for purchase. I feel like that would just piss people off. I don't know.
I mean, it might, but it's a free-to-play game, so...
Yeah, but the thing is that they already had 2 characters that were locked before.
That's true.
So why switch it up? And it's like, you're already doing the best.
It's EA.
So, well, I don't know. So I guess we'll see. So, right now we know there's going to be an update in March. We just had an update on the 19th, and... So there'll be another update in March, and then the season's also going to start. And potentially we're also going to see a new character named Prophet.
Okay.
Any thoughts? Being an Apex player.
I'm excited for new content, I guess. I'm pretty happy with everything they've got so far. I've only played a couple games since last week.
Right.
I've been busy, so I'm not starved for content. So,
yeah.
But anything new is always welcome. So,
yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, the gameplay is almost flawless. I really enjoyed everything so far, so I really don't have many complaints.
Yeah, I think Pathfinder, from what I've noticed and seen from people, is that he's kind of like the biggest issue. Because now there's a known issue with his hitboxes, and then he has the zip lines. And there's also another speculated issue I've seen from streamers who are like asking the question is when he's zip lining, his accuracy on the zip line, like sometimes it's right on, and then sometimes it's like way off. So
okay.
I don't know if there's a bug about when and where you launch the zip lines, or attach yourself to it. I don't know, but I know that's definitely something that people have talked about, but I don't know if it's a real thing. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well, also me being the crazy person that I am, I actually read the terms and service from the Epic Store.
Oh.
Which is not Origin, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Who doesn't read the terms of service?
Right, exactly.
I don't think I read the terms of service for the Origin launcher though.
Yeah. So, but for Epic Games, because I was looking up the new free games that they have there, and I noticed that they wanted me to check the box to say I read the terms, so I went and read them like a nut job, and I found a couple lines that were kind of interesting. One of which was kind of basically saying that you're not allowed to mod their games, because it says you may not do any of the following with respect to the software or any of their parts, right? And then section G says create, develop, distribute, or use any unauthorized software programs to gain advantage in any online or other game modes. Now, online is fine because I don't want people hacking my online games, but if I've got a single-player game, let me mod it.
Yeah.
And that language specifically bans you for, you could take the ban from the Epic Store and lose all of your content that you paid for.
Jeez,
If
steep.
Yeah, so that's rough, and also apparently you can't use offensive language as determined by Epic, or leave multiplayer games while you're in the middle of the game. That's against terms of service. Because section J says behave in a manner which is detrimental to the enjoyment of the software or services by any users as intended by Epic. In Epic's sole judgment, including but not limited to the following: cheating, harassment, use of abusive or offensive language, or game abandonment. Game sabotage, spamming, social engineering, scamming, all that stuff.
Specifically vague.
Yeah, it's at their sole judgment to basically say that that's offensive. We're banning you now.
Yeah.
So just throwing that out there. If you read the terms, it's right there in section J.
I think they should have more of like a community. I don't know what that's under, but is that like community guidelines? I guess.
Yeah, it's
That's what it
right on the
sounds like
top
to me.
there, yeah.
But you know what though, like game abandonment would kind of affect some of your. It would affect your gameplay.
It does.
Because like if you're in a squad with like random guys, it shouldn't be that serious, but I mean that's definitely a thing where it's like if you're in a squad with random guys.
But if you get booted from the Epic Games Store because your internet shit the bed,
right?
You know, like what if you have like because I would have to play on DSL and my DSL internet at home is like terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if I'm playing an online game,
right.
I'm just not supposed to enjoy online. I guess.
I don't know. I feel like that's a standard thing, but I thought I'd bring it up because I think it's funny that they really kind of have that in their back pocket.
Yeah, but I could never see them pulling that on somebody.
I would think they'd only do that if like you're like you get reports constantly for just like trolling people by abandoning their games. You know what I mean? That would make sense. But I just thought I'd point it out that that's actually a thing you could get banned for.
Yeah, but do you know what? But I don't know. I think it's kind of nice because it's like like you said, I think it's somebody like completely abusing that right to I guess rage quit or. But it's like, but if somebody is straight up like trolling people,
right?
It's like that is really annoying.
Yeah, true.
You know,
nobody likes that guy,
right? Because what was it? What was it? One guy like Wings of Honor or something, and like he used to be playing COD, and like he has a really huge video, and it's like. Some guys on his team are just like they're just running in circles around him because they know he's a streamer and they're just like just shooting at him and like kind of like letting everybody know where everyone is.
Oh right,
you know what I mean? He's like trying to get a lot of kill in Call of Duty. Like a lot of kills
right,
in
that's
Call
what
of
he
Duty.
does.
Yeah,
Is
it's like that's what it's called.
Position.
I think it's called like Wings. That's his channel. It's like Wings of Honor or Wings of Valor or something.
Shout out to that guy.
I don't think he's on anymore. He got really upset.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, well, because I think I saw it on like a fails compilation or something.
Oh no.
Yeah, but that was what he was doing. He was like, "I'm just trying to make money." And it's like
that reminds me of that guy that was doing something similar on Mortal Kombat 10, and he was like spamming the same attack, and like people who actually knew how to play the game were just wiping the floor with him, and he got so ragey about it.
Yeah. Oh no!
I think I saw. I think that was like part of one of the same ones.
Oh no!
He was like a Sub-Zero thing, right? Wasn't he like?
He was playing as
Sub-Zero?
Jackie Briggs the whole time, and he would do like the long range Jackie Briggs attack, and he would say like, "Oh, combo," and then people who knew how to close in the gap and like eliminate the zoning that she could do, and just totally wreck him, and he would get super mad.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but that's the whole thing. But like all this, it could really ruin, game sales and stuff like that.
I don't know. Yeah, if people actually read it, maybe.
Well, no, but I just want to say too before that.
Doesn't everybody read them?
Yeah. I never, but you know what? You really should. That's what I want to say. You really should read the terms because even with the mobile like phone apps and stuff, is like usually you're giving them permission to like go into all your contacts.
Human centipede.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who spent far too much time reading these things, it gets easier. There's actually, like, you start realizing the huge blocks of text that you can just skip because it's all legalese about, like, companies reselling their game or whatever. So it's like, that doesn't matter. Oh, here's the gameplay stuff, and you zone in on that and see what am I held accountable to. And
well, I was just thinking, the big thing with the terms and service agreements for me is, like, what privacy am I giving up? Because that's usually falls somewhere in there.
Right.
What are you allowing people to see?
Yeah, and that's actually the one that I like to read more than the terms most of the time because the terms is just mostly for companies and stuff. But privacy is like... But I don't like reading those because I know full well I want to use the service. Right. And I feel just violated after I read them. So I still want to use the service, so I do it anyway. Right. It's like, well, I don't have much of an option, but there's a web app that you can add that's called TLDR that you can literally just like, it just gives a grade to big websites and tells you how good their terms are at a glance, which is nice. So if you care, check that out.
Right. Don't sign your life away.
Yeah, don't do it. Like some certain players who bought a certain game recently did, signed their life away to the... Never mind.
Oh, I feel you. I understand where you're going now.
Anyways.
What?
Anthem.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to leave you out to... Just hang out.
So, those Anthem sales, though, wow.
Yeah.
Bad.
They weren't great.
Not great. Still number one somehow, but like comparatively.
Number one for the month?
In the UK, it was number one.
On like all consoles or?
I can't remember the specifics.
Yeah.
But it was number one on the list. But comparatively to the same titles in its kind, it's not doing well, and it's not a good sign because EA wanted to have 6 to 7 million copies sold by the end of March, and at the current at what it's currently doing, I mean the sales are so low that the sale numbers are so low that they've already put a sale on it in certain stores.
Yeah.
So they're trying really hard to just.
It's like opening week for, unless you have, people could get in a week early with that Origin Premiere BS or whatever. But yeah, that's sales on first week. That's something.
Yeah, it's not looking good, and I'm a little bit worried for BioWare at this point because the critical reception, the reviews have been not good, and the sales are not good either.
No.
So.
It makes me genuinely sad though because I really like that game. I wanted to like it. It looks so good. The gameplay looked so tight.
That's the thing. It's just
a beautiful.
It's a luxurious wheelchair, is what it is. You know what I mean? It's.
No, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's something that you just sit in that doesn't really do much. It helps you get from A to B, but it just doesn't do a lot. But it looks pretty.
Yeah.
So
I see.
You have a diamond encrusted wheelchair at this point. That's what it is, and it kind of considering the state of the game at this point, a wheelchair is a good analogy for it because it needs one.
Yeah, it's broken.
It's still on a crutch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really tough because I even read another article about Anthem and then what their plan is moving forward, and it's just the whole thing is, in the conclusion of the article, it's basically will it measure up? Probably not because of what's going on with Apex and everything right now. And it's people who are waiting for the updates are potentially just going to go play Apex or something else. Apex, I'm just saying, is the closest thing,
honestly,
to it that EA is putting out. So best case scenario for EA is people go play Apex instead.
They needed
what I mean?
They needed to bring something to this game that would set it apart from the competition, and its direct competition is Destiny. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's the same gameplay style, it's the same 4-player team-up thing aspect. I mean, it's and I've heard from a lot of people that it's pretty much just a Destiny clone at this point. Yeah. And it's not bringing anything different. And so,
It really is a Destiny clone.
Yeah, so...
yeah, I don't know, it's not great.
And it's bleak. It's looking bleak for BioWare because, BioWare Montreal closed down when Mass Effect Andromeda was sold out, or when it was released. Mm-hmm. The sales numbers were down. It was getting all these not great reviews and scores and stuff. And then within a few months after that, Montreal got dissolved into the EA beast, and they were gone. So BioWare Montreal is now out of the picture. And BioWare, the main studio, I fear, is soon to follow, which would mean no more Mass Effect or Dragon Age ever again.
Yeah.
The only thing, though, is that even though the company itself as an entity will be gone, I mean, a lot of those, writers and developers and stuff are going to move into something else or potentially create a new studio. You know what I mean? It's so, but their work will still potentially be around.
Maybe if they don't get dissolved into the mass of EA and redistributed.
The thing is, if they're to leave, let's say that they went down that route. If they were to leave EA and remake their own dev studio, they wouldn't have access to any other IPs.
Right.
Because BioWare would be gone, EA would own it.
Yeah.
So EA would own Mass Effect, and then they would assign some other dev team to make another Mass Effect game that would probably suck.
If they even do that, it's like sometimes the licensing deals, it's they get ownership and they hold on to it with a freaking bear hug, but then anyone wants to use that and they're like, no, it's ours, but we're going to put it in the safe and not do anything with it for 10, 15 years.
But the thing is I think we were talking about last episode, the guys who are in Respawn, aren't they the same guys who were from, unless I'm wrong,
Modern Warfare 2,
Modern Warfare 2,
yeah.
and it's that was a great game, and now look at Apex is really great because it has a similar team.
Right.
So it's I'm just saying there is still potential for a group of people, maybe not the same exact group, but something similar, made up of some of the same people to move into another project down the line and create something good.
Well, I mean,
that's best case scenario from worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for me and probably a lot of Mass Effect and Dragon Age fans because
bunch of them.
They claim that they're working on Dragon Age 4, but like they've been saying that for a while now, and their main focus has been Anthem this whole time. So like Anthem or like Dragon Age 4 probably.
It really shows.
Yeah, and I'm highly suspect that Anthem probably had the same fate that Destiny 1 had, where they had more content and they just cut it out because Activision told them to.
Right. In this case, EA. But I mean, a couple episodes we were talking about like why the hell would EA cut off their own head like this? It's like, let's release 2 games in the same window and compete against ourselves. It makes a lot of sense now looking at Anthem. They just wanted any attention off of that game.
They knew that Anthem wasn't ready.
Yeah.
They pushed it out anyway.
And that's something that when we were talking earlier, like I wanted to say is like, I know it's gonna piss everybody off, but why not just hold on to it for another 3 or 4 months, or what month is it now?
That's the thing. Like they have more.
But why not just hold on to it until
exactly?
the fall?
That's what doesn't make any sense. Because they have more content in the pipeline. Like right now, that they're saying like, by next month we'll be adding this, and this, and it's like, why didn't you just push it off a month?
And honestly, like it seems like Respawn really could have gotten shafted on this. They got shafted by EA last time with Titanfall.
Yeah.
I mean, they released that in a terrible window too, and they did this with the same to compete against their own damn game. And it's it's a shining gem. They could have released it early and been like, given it press instead of just like the day one drop. It's like, here's another battle royale made by EA. Oh yeah, that's gonna go over real well.
I don't understand who's making the release date decisions over there because they've made a couple weird ones.
Oh, it's probably people who. I don't want to say.
Well, it's probably
who aren't into.
It's probably
who don't play
like
games.
Right.
Who aren't into that world.
It's probably like the executives and stuff saying like we need quarter 3, quarter 4 sales to look like this. So
right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's all a numbers game. It's probably I don't know if the head of EA. He's actually playing video games, but potentially he's probably...
No, he's looking at the stock charts and seeing how well their company is doing, and like you have to have quarterly reviews out by X date, otherwise. So there's a lot of stuff that us as gamers probably never even think about. It's like, that's driving these crazy decisions. That's why they always seem so crazy. But
what's good though is potentially they start to clean it up, but before they do, like hopefully there's some kind of price drop for other people, you know what I mean, who are late coming into the game, but because everybody really likes a sale.
I sure do. In fact, there's another sale going on Steam right now. All the Tomb Raider games are on sale, so you can pick up the original Tomb Raider 2013, which was a fantastic game. I know you loved that game.
Oh, the remake?
Yeah,
it was
so good.
Really good.
It's $3 right now on Steam. So.
Really?
Yeah, if you got the time and the cash, you might as well.
What is the Tomb Raider remake?
They rebooted it in 2013. Remember how they...
What game?
It was called Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And it was released in 2013.
And it was a remake of the first Tomb Raider?
No. It's a reboot of the whole franchise.
It's
like a reinvention of like Lara and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you said remake. That's why I was like,
sorry. I meant reboot. Yeah. And then the next one after that, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, that one is $11.99 right now. And then the newest one that came out, I believe... Oh shoot! I don't know what was. Oh no, it was Rise of the Tomb Raider. It was the second one, $11.99. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That's $30 right now. Or if you want all of them, you can get the entire Tomb Raider collection, which is like a $300 deal for like $40.64. And that'll be all of the Tomb Raiders, OG 1 through Rise. So it won't come with Shadow. That's the only game you won't get. But for $40. Own all of them. That's and like this is 20 games.
This is all only on Steam, though.
Correct.
Yeah.
The first 2 are really good. The last one was kind of...
Yeah, I haven't been I was a big fan of the original ones on like PS1 and stuff, and then I just kind of started to get away from it. No.
Oh, okay. Well,
I know they're supposed to be really good, and I've seen like tons of videos and stuff on them. And I actually bought I think I started playing the second one for a little while, but it was just kind of too outdated for me. And
tell me how you really feel about it.
I didn't like it.
Uncharted 4, Uncharted, the first couple were pretty dated, but the last one, Uncharted 4, is awesome.
3 was good too.
Yeah, I don't have
the train scene. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just saying they're similar in nature to the reboot Tomb Raider, but
they kind of are.
Well, that's what I noticed when I was playing them. Was like, this feels just like Tomb Raider to me.
Yeah.
But with a male protagonist, so I don't have as much of an opinion as you want me to be. We can talk about The Last of Us if you want, but I'm just kidding.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
But on the sale note, I did want to say that we got a bunch of free games that are also coming out this week. Which is, if you're on the Epic Game Store, you can go head over there. They have Thimbleweed Park for free this week, and that's or this month, I guess it just started.
What is the Thimbleweed Park? Can you give us a brief summary?
I can. It's actually made by a bunch of people who were from the old LucasArts point-and-click adventure games from the 90s. Mm-hmm. So they made stuff like Maniac Mansion and what was the other one? Monkey Island and The Dig, and all those.
So it's like
all
a
those
roller
ones.
coaster tycoon kind of thing?
No, it's a point-and-click adventure, so that basically it's a story that you're looking around and trying to solve puzzles and mysteries and stuff. Yeah. And it's made by the same development, a bunch of those developers just Respawn did. Yeah. They branched off and made a studio to pay homage to this. So the graphics look almost exactly like the older games, and it's a game about two FBI agents that are very X-Files type of, but it's
is there a lot of little jokes?
Yes, it's hilarious like that. Yeah, the comedy is rife in those games. So
what else do we have?
We have this game called Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. That comes free with Xbox Games with Gold. And they also have Super Bomberman R. And then for the PlayStation Plus members, this month you get Hitman, complete first season, For Honor, which is basically a rock paper scissors simulator.
This is going to be you said for next month though, right?
That's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if this was still in.
It's this week.
Yeah, but it will go through the whole month.
I think it's about to wrap up actually, and then next month they're going to have the new ones, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So Hitman and For Honor were on the PS4. For the PS3, you've got Dive Kick, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And then for PS Vita, you got Gunhouse and Rogue Aces. So
that's the last month for the PS3 titles for the freebies.
Taps plays softly in the background. Yep. Yeah. That's sad. It was a good console.
Yeah, but there is a lot of really good games coming out for March too, and that we can talk about next week. Mm-hmm. The only thing I wanted to add to this whole to all these sales and stuff is there's a big sale on the PlayStation Store right now that's going from now when you see it till March 1st, but there's a ton of games, up to 50 to 60% off. And it's under, when you go to the PlayStation PlayStation Store, go down to games and go over, and then they'll have the deals. But there's actually one of the boxes that you can highlight over it's like the Critic Awards section, and it's just tons of critically acclaimed games from the PS4's lifetime that are on sale. I mean, there's big ones. I'm pretty sure Red Dead 2 is on there. And stuff, and it's not 60% off, but it's there are some games that are really, really inexpensive right now, and that sale is only going up to March 1st. So that's something.
Got anything on there? Shout outs? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's big titles. I was looking at it earlier, but I was just kind of perusing, looking for
Critics'
stuff.
Choice sale.
Yeah, the Critics' Choice. Yeah, but there's big names on there.
Scroll through some of those. I want to see if there's anything worth shouting out here. Destiny 2, right off the bat, $20.
Yeah,
that's for the base game though.
Yeah, and then Battlefield 5 is on there, isn't that one?
Oh yeah,
Battlefield 5 is on there.
60% off.
Yeah, dang.
60% off for Battlefield 5.
Grand Theft Auto 5's $15 right now.
It's a huge deal right now. But the thing too, coming up with Battlefield 5, and I don't know if it's out already, but they're going to have their new Battle Royale out. I think it might be.
Who is this?
Battlefield 5, they have a Battle Royale.
Yeah, they
I
did
think
have
it's
that
coming out in March.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's going to be huge if you can pick it up on sale now, because I'm sure there's going to be a news story about the Battlefield Battle Royale, because, Battle Royales are the thing right now.
The new hotness.
So, people, I mean, definitely all the streamers are definitely going to be playing it for a day or two.
Yeah.
And even potentially longer if it's really good.
Yeah. They might surprise us.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me of another news story that we're not covering, but it was they're talking about the PS5, and this is why I brought up, because I said something about The Last of Us earlier, and so the PS5 is trying to talk and play with new ideas and how to be better than its competitors and stuff, and they were talking about how a lot of their exclusives are usually single player oriented games or single player heavy, and so what they want to do with the PS5 is try to bring some more multiplayer heavy exclusives, and so they haven't really talked about it too much. There's just kind of an announcement that somebody made from Sony that this is kind of something that we want to do. No specifics were talked about. There was somebody said something about.
That's nice. It was an official statement.
Somebody said what?
And not rumor mill.
Well, yeah, it was. Somebody was saying that from Sony that is what they want to do, is they want to get more multiplayer exclusives into
so
the
it's
mix.
nice to get some actual real news out of Sony about that.
And so, but the funny thing that was speculated was Last of Us 2 Battle Royale. And that's what I said something when I said something about Last of Us earlier. It made me think of that story.
Are you serious?
Well, no, obviously not. But it's it's not.
I wouldn't be surprised in this day and age.
But yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier, you were saying how the Last of Us multiplayer was a lot better.
Really good. Yeah, it's so underrated. I played through both sides of that, and I played more than I should have of that, and it's impressive. It was a good time.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's definitely good, and it'll get a lot more people involved. And I know there's been a lot of stuff on YouTube going around with getting a lot of people involved.
Yeah, there was a.
if you didn't just make it so obvious,
I just wanted him to know. I didn't know if he was going to pick up on it.
I zoned out with that last one. That was my bad. But
Okay. I thought you were just
we're trying to.
Didn't just it would have been so smooth. You're really good at this.
Well, you know what though? But you know what? Earlier when you said something about the Thimbleweed Park.
Yeah.
I don't know if my comment about Roller Coaster Tycoon was an obvious giveaway that I wasn't listening to what games you're this is what it's like, and all I was thinking was theme park games. I just started thinking theme park.
I mean, obviously you weren't a fan of the old.
No,
it's easy to wander off when it's I
don't care about that, and that's why timestamps.
Yeah.
When it has anything. Yeah. That is why we're trying to do timestamps.
So over the weekend, Markiplier, my favorite YouTuber, video game YouTuber, he did a charity live stream and raised $500,000 for a charity called My Friend's Place, which was for homeless youth.
Nice.
So that was really neat. He did it in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Just about 24 hours. He thought he was... I was there when he started it, and he was just I'm going to keep going until we've reached our goal, however long that takes.
And that's something they won't tell you on Jimmy Kimmel.
Or USA Today.
Yeah.
And knowing Mark, I knew right then and there, he was dead serious. When it comes to his charity live streams, he never backs down from those challenges. Those are his thing.
Yeah.
That's one of his favorite things to do. So
makes sense to me.
If it would have taken 72 hours, he would have been passed out in his chair, but the live stream would still be going and still be getting donations.
Yeah.
But thankfully, he was able to get in just about a clean 24 hours straight.
Yeah.
And he got really funny and all punch drunk and slapsticky near the end.
Even better.
Yeah.
Probably made more money at the end than he did in the beginning.
Oh, he's grinding it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's definitely really cool.
Yeah. It was fun watching him play through Dead Space, though. He played the first Dead Space.
Dead Space? Oh, nice.
Dead Space.
Yeah.
Dude, I was really in love with Dead Space.
One of the best horror games ever made.
Yeah. Yep. 1 and 2 were great, and the 3 kind of fell off for me.
I didn't mind 3 with co-op. With the co-op campaign, it was okay.
But it was to me, it's you went in the direction of Resident Evil 5.
It's funny.
The first one was definitely the best.
Awesome.
Remember in the first one, there's one part where the tentacle comes out and grabs you by the foot and drags you down the hall, and you got to shoot it. Yeah. They almost didn't make that game because of that scene. The director, Cameron.
Well, they almost cut that scene out.
Yeah. Yeah, but
that was
he pushed so hard on that to the point where they almost ran out of time to make the game because they had to rebuild all of the game from the ground up pretty much in order to make that work.
Every gameplay mechanic and stuff had to be like restructured and
because you have to shoot from down here and
it was so good though. Like it really was. But and like that's something that I miss, man. Was like when Dead Space 1 came out. Like I remember playing it and like. I don't remember any issues, like real, like hardcore issues with the game.
Smooth.
It was.
You know what I mean? It's like I miss really getting games like that.
And it's like the melee to break stuff was the stomp. Like that's something like no other game.
They really just had like it was so well thought out. Like they thought about all the aspects of like just to make it as immersive as possible an experience. Like this is what it would feel like to be in space, to have these like heavy gravity boots on and smash enemies on the ground.
That needs to go in the
because
live stream.
It did feel like when you were that smash, it felt like you have a very heavy boot on. Yeah. And you know what I mean?
And like Isaac, one of the things I loved about it was like Isaac was like kind of like hunched over and stuff. Like he's just an engineer, he's not a soldier. You know?
Yeah.
So like for him to be like have that posture and not look like the macho hero that's like up here with his weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
And like he everything about it was just really well done and well thought out.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like congratulations to Markiplier for reaching that 500,000 and helping those kids.
Yep.
It was a really great thing he did. I'm looking forward to more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like people should always talk about stuff like that a lot more because I feel like a lot of YouTubers and people do that and then they're constantly getting dragged through the mud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like nobody even with PewDiePie and I mean obviously because he's so big.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about him doing a lot of charity stuff and it's like, oh well nobody talks about that.
Yeah,
Everybody
just
everybody just talks about people's mistakes and it's like moving on.
Speaking of people who are really beloved by the industry, Reggie, the president of Nintendo America, is.
What's his last name?
I don't even want to try. I can't. Reggie. That's all you need to know. Good guy Reggie. He's leaving Nintendo at 57. He's retiring at 57. I wish I could do that, but more power to him. He said he's in good health and he's leaving to just spend more time with his family. So he knows what's important. So he's leaving the reins to Doug Bowser, who now has the keys to the castle. So
freaking Bowser, man.
Bowser.
He finally has taken hold on Nintendo.
And now a new wave of memes will sweep the internet. Cannot wait.
Already have.
That's inevitable.
It is.
Doesn't matter.
Already have. You underestimate the power of the internet, my friend.
Yeah, power of memes, really.
Yeah. All right. And coming out this week, we got on the 26th Lego Movie 2. That's for PS4, PC, and Xbox. Then you got also on the 26th, Trials Rising on the PS4 and the Switch. On the 1st, you got Dead or Alive 6, PS4 and PC, and Toe Jam and Earl, a classic brought back to life. Mm-hmm. It's called Back in the Groove, and that's for Switch, PC, and Xbox.
I think the first Toe Jam and Earl came out in like 91 or something.
It did.
Because I remember I read a little bit about that and I was like, wow, like this has been around.
I played the second one. I was Panic on Funkatron. That one was so
I was
good.
also really... I was kind of happy to see the Dead or Alive 6. I mean, I haven't been following them or anything, so it was kind of like, oh, Dead or Alive 6? Like, okay.
Yeah.
This is cool. But it's like I played a lot of Dead or Alive, like on like PS2 and PS3 a little bit. But
that
it was like
physics, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been really good. And I was just going to say...
You didn't know what I'm saying?
Huh?
Those physics, though. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I don't know you there.
Okay.
Well, explain.
Oh, there's physics. And for certain things in that game.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Never mind.
You're talking about gravity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Gravity physics.
Dead or Alive beach volleyball? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep,
okay.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I was like, I don't know.
It's funny because I think they said they were going to tone it down this time.
Oh, really?
And they're totally not.
I'm just excited to see. I'm just excited to see it at Evo, at Evolution, like the fighting.
Oh, you watch those?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are just really impressive. And I've always enjoyed playing fighting games, but I've never gotten in any game to anywhere close to the talent that those guys have.
Right.
But it's actually fun for me to watch, like, the Evolution tournament.
I believe that.
I mean, a lot of the games I don't even play, but it's like the skill level at which these guys are playing it and the combos that they're able to carry out is like, this is really impressive. And it's fun to see because these are the best players and regular like the world right now, and it's like maybe
half the time I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Fighting game competitions are really fun.
Yeah,
they come up with some stuff because like sometimes I'll just watch them just come up with combo ideas.
Yeah,
like I'll watch like in the Mortal Kombat X tournaments or whatever, and they come up with some really inventive stuff.
Yeah. They're just really impressive. Like I said, like there's games that I don't even play, but I mean I've watched a ton of Tekken. Like I've watched probably close to 100 hours of just Evolution, Tekken, and even the new Street Fighter that they were playing over the past.
Some of the
years.
stuff I see them do, I'm just like, how do you even do that? Like I know the mechanics.
How do you carry the combos?
That doesn't seem possible.
Well, some of them are so hard, and you'll see it sometimes. They'll talk about like the commentators about dropping the combo, and it's because like when the characters. When they kind of drop into the ground, sometimes there's like a little window where you can pick them back up and then restring, and it's like sometimes they'll drop it.
It comes down to like the science of like frames and stuff like that.
Well, and a lot of it is like you're talking about these zones and where your reach with that character is and playing in that comfortable area where you're or that sweet spot for that character where he needs to be. I can't think of the exact terminology right now, but I mean that stuff's always really fun to watch. But I also love playing games.
You do?
Yes.
Well, that's great. Me too.
It's just going to be a thing all the time now. I'm just going to laugh every time we segue.
This is Epic Trash. Welcome.
I was hoping to carry that into the playlist.
So I heard you were playing some games today. This involved certain combos.
I've also... There actually was something that came up for that, but I am playing. I was playing Devil May Cry 5, the demo earlier today, because it is coming up on the 5th. So I thought it would be a good idea to get into it, and I was a fan of the.
I guess they did that on purpose. Devil May Cry 5 on the 5th.
I don't know. I think it might have just happened.
What is that? A Friday?
No, it's a Tuesday.
No, it's the next Tuesday.
Oh,
it's the Tuesday of next week. Yeah, so I'm playing Devil May Cry, or I was playing the demo earlier today. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit.
Okay.
What were you playing?
Oh, I played a whole bunch of stuff. I played a little bit of Apex Legends. That was fun. Yeah. I played some Red Dead. I'm almost done with that campaign, so that's good. And I played a lot of Beat Saber because that is a fun game. It's for VR. It's where you have lightsabers and you slash blocks to the beat.
Yeah, it was fun. I played a little bit.
Oh, you played some too, right? Yeah. So it's good stuff. It's that's pretty much all I've been doing. It's just a mishmash of little gaming bouts here and there.
Yeah.
And I got around to playing through the entirety of Metro Exodus.
You did?
Yes.
And you're going to give us a review,
beat it in a weekend.
I will. Yeah.
Nice. So it's fresh.
We could do the review first, or do you want me to banter about Devil May Cry 5?
It's up to you.
Coin toss? Rock, paper's trash?
Why don't we do the review first?
Okay, yeah, do the review first and then I'll talk about it.
All right, sure. So Metro Exodus, third game in the series, probably the last game in the series. And where do I begin here? The gameplay in general is pretty much your standard first-person shooter fare. There's not a whole lot different that it does, except like, especially if you're used to the first two in the series, they give you a certain number of weapons to work with that are pretty much all the same in every level, except there's one part where they take your weapons away, which is a little bit irritating, but you do get them back. But I've never really cared for when games arbitrarily do that. But it kind of they do it in a way that makes sense. So there's several different maps and times of the year that you experience. So unlike the first two titles where you're spending most of your time either in the metro or in post-apocalyptic zones of Moscow, you spend the majority of the time in different areas that span from swamplands to desert to lush forests, things like that. So
did it look good? The graphics?
Yeah, graphically, it's pretty solid. I can't really give anything to knock it for graphically. The one thing that I did have a slight issue with was that sometimes when I would go to, because it allows for the option to sneak, and most of the time when a game allows me to sneak, then I'll take that option. And I'll do my best to sneak as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I would notice sometimes that when I'm sneaking around and I'm trying to get a headshot on an enemy, especially if it's like through like a window pane or a stairwell or something like that, where like you got kind of a narrow window to shoot through.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was a little bit it was not as forgiving through that kind of stuff as it should have been.
I see.
There's a lot of games that I've played where like you can shoot through, like if you can see the enemy, you can hit them.
Right.
But like in this game, there was definitely a few occasions where it was just like I should have been able to make that shot.
But instead you shot like the bar of the
or something.
Cage or whatever.
And like and every once in a while, I swear, like my aim is not bad.
Yeah.
Especially when the enemy's just standing there like 10 yards away.
Yeah.
And I'll have a perfectly lined up headshot. Go for the shot, and it'll miss. And I'm just like, and then they're on to me, and I'm just like, what did I do wrong?
Right.
Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
So
how's the AI?
The AI is pretty good.
Up to par with the old ones.
Yeah, I mean they will team up on you, and once you're spotted, like they pretty much are going to be they're going to stay aware. They're not going to know exactly where you are at all times, like magically.
Right.
But they will stay like at alert. And
right. There's no going back to them.
Yeah. They probably won't go back to their patterns of pathways and stuff like that, which is a good thing because like it keeps you more on your toes.
Right.
Which I like. And then what else can I say about it? There's two different endings that you can reach. Depending on how you play, there's the bad one and the good one, and
just like in the first two games.
Yeah, I got the good ending, and I didn't even use like a walkthrough or anything like that. But I did look it up afterwards because I was curious, and like there were definitely a few things where the average player, maybe one who's not as thorough as I am, might get the bad ending because they made a couple wrong decisions. Or didn't play passively as much as possible.
Right. Yeah.
Is there like a meter in the game so you know if you're that's cool though.
Just like with the first two, because the good ending's always canon.
Right.
In those,
so it's good to be play a little bit more reservist. Like don't take out an enemy unless you really have to, or like I mean you can kill the bad guys and still get the good ending. Like as long as you're killing like only the bad guys. Right. Don't be like a psychopathic douche.
Did it have any like invisible barriers or anything, any BS like that? Because I know it's in a more open world. Sometimes they'll just have you with the invisible barriers, like Anthem did.
Oh, like the edge of the world.
Yeah.
Well, I never really pushed it because like the maps are big enough to the point where I didn't really feel the need to.
Okay.
And like they give you
that's good.
They give you the map, and like they're not huge maps. Like they're not enormous.
Yeah.
But they're big enough to feel like you've got enough room to play with.
Right.
And so and they also like they're pretty good about giving you the map that you can actually pull up in game.
Yeah.
And the catch with this game though, and I think it was the same way in the first two, is like when you pull up the map, it doesn't stop the game. Mm-hmm. So you have to pull up the map in a safe place. You have to do a lot of things when you're in a safe place away from enemy fire.
Much like you would in real life.
Yeah.
It's like
so
no
which is nice, and like it's been a while since I played Last Light, so there's like some of the stuff that I had forgotten about.
Yeah.
I want to go back and replay the first two because I never even played the first one.
Yeah. It aged pretty well in my opinion. It's still viable. Good. It's not great, but it's definitely the graphics are pretty high end in that game to begin with. Like they usually push I know on PC like the what is it, the specs, the recommended specs for that is ridiculous. So
they also
I always thought they always looked really good.
Yeah, they did.
Mean, even the second one, I didn't really get into the first one, but Last Light was the second one, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And then so I thought like when they came out with that, just the contrast and the colors they were using were a lot. It seemed they were trying to push it to be a lot sharper. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're really trying to push that up.
I was surprised with their efforts to make like the maps, each map feel different because like the first map really does feel like a swampy kind of wasteland area, and then the desert map really feels like a desert. Like they didn't. It's
nice diversity.
And the other thing I really enjoyed about it was the diversity of enemy types.
Yeah.
Because like when you're when you're in the swampy area, you get specific enemy types, and like some of the enemies will repeat, like the monsters I should specify. Like the bandits are pretty much the bandits no matter where you go.
Right.
I mean, they might have slightly different backstory of to why these bandits are there.
Right.
But at the same time, and they'll look a little bit different from the other bandits you've seen in the past and from other maps.
So not always
but they're still bandits.
Yeah.
So like, at their core they're pretty similar. But the monsters are like, they vary quite a bit.
Nice.
You go to into these underground buildings and you'll experience like these creepy things that I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah. But
it still has the like that, because I know Last Light had some serious just edge of horror vibes. That was that similar like that too, or there wasn't really too much?
I think it depends on what time of day that you're playing in.
Oh, okay.
Because
there's a day-night cycle.
Yeah,
Nice.
And if you play during the daytime, you're going to experience more humans and a little bit less on the monster scale.
Yeah.
But if you're playing at night, you're going to see more monsters coming out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I had heard too. That the night and day cycle you'd have I heard it was easier to go through during the day, and that some of the monsters at night were just completely crazy.
Yeah,
and it was a lot harder because you have obviously less visibility.
Yeah, the thing is like when it comes to the nighttime, you can use the nighttime to your advantage by if you have to infiltrate a bandit camp. Like, you're going to have less bandits to worry about at night, and a lot of them are going to be passed out. For example, there's only going to be maybe a few of them on, doing their rotations, as opposed to during the daytime, they're all pretty much awake, doing something. So
yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, and so like you kind of have to do budgeting on what's valuable to do and when, like decide based on your play style, like how do you want to play the game. How do you want to go about approaching your missions?
Right. How scarce is like resources in the game? At certain points, I guess.
It's fair. It's pretty fair about how it gives you your resources.
What did you play on? Difficulty?
I played on normal.
Okay.
I typically play on normal. I thought about replaying on a harder difficulty just for fun. I know that on a harder difficulty on the Ranger, for example, there's much less workbenches to find. Which can make things a little bit more challenging for sure. If you can't get to a workbench, then there's certain things that you just won't be able to do. Like you can't clean your guns. If you can't clean your guns, then one of them might break. Oh, and if one of them breaks, then you're really screwed.
We really like full on break. Like you just can't use it.
You cannot use it anymore. You'll have to pick up another one.
Oh wow.
So and that's another thing that reminds me is like if you're playing the game like. If you swap weapons with one that's in the field, then make sure that after you swap the gun out that you have been using, if it has parts on it that you want,
it doesn't just auto switch.
Pull those parts off of it before you walk away.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Because
that's a good pro tip.
Yeah. I don't know for sure if you will lose those parts, but I didn't want to take any chances.
Right.
It's like I know this game and it tends to be a little harsh.
Right.
So I didn't risk it.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
It is really fun. I don't really want to like grade it or anything like that, but is it worth playing? Like, yeah,
it was worth picking up at full price.
Yeah, I feel like it was because like there's a lot of stuff that I still neglected to even do. Like I played through the main campaign and everything, but there's a lot of the maps that I didn't really explore very much. Not that I didn't want to, but like I was kind of like trying to get through it so I could talk about it here today.
Yeah.
So I might play through it again, or be more thorough next time and give it more time because like the story is really nice. Like the romance between Artyom and Anna is well written.
It's not cheesy like some movies.
Yeah, like. You know me, I don't like romantic subplots, but like they had a nice, believable relationship. Yeah. And that relationship spans across the trilogy, essentially. And in this last game, like some serious stuff goes down. Yeah. And like I kind of they sort of telegraphed it a little bit. Yeah. But I don't think they were trying to really hide it from the player. Yeah. They were trying to hide it from the cast in the game.
Right.
But like, you'll see what I mean if you play it. But like it I knew what was happening to Anna, and I'm just like, something needs to be done about that. I cannot let this pass, So it definitely gets you invested in the characters. And the general is General Miller. He's a really hard ass old general type, and he's always fun on screen. And the way that the relationships change over time.
Wasn't he in the second one too?
Probably.
I think he was. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like these two fake, metallic legs and stuff. He's Anna's father.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I forgot this.
What else can I say, really?
That's what happens when you base a game off a book. Like, it's literally well written.
Yeah. So what do you give it? Final result? Score? Worth a buy, or?
I mean, if I had to number it numerically on 8 to 10, it would probably be an 8 to 10. I would definitely say buy it if you're a gig of single player games. If you like single player games with a good story, then go ahead and pick it up. I think it's worth the $60. It's a very full, complete game. There's nothing like taken out of it just for DLC or anything like that. It's just, you get a nice full experience. So
yeah, that's good, and that's something that's kind of rare right now.
Yeah, it really is.
Kind of like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So let me just I'm going to touch on Devil May Cry 5.
Okay.
Because it is coming out next week, and I played the demo. I've played other Devil May Cry games. So in Devil May Cry 5, you are going to be able to play as Nero, who is a demon hunter just like Dante, who kind of goes off to do his own thing, and he rolls around in a van with the Devil May Cry logo on it. You will be able to play as Dante, and he's a little bit older now. But I actually think that in the storyline that this takes place after Devil May Cry 2 is kind of where we are in the timeline. And then there's a new character to the series called V, who comes in and is playable. And I guess he's actually unable. He's kind of a mysterious character, and I don't know a lot about him right now. I don't think too many people know tons about him right now. But he's actually unable to fight as is, but he can summon, he summons, like, shades or kind of like black, foggy beasts. I know he has a raven and a panther, and then he can kind of summon. I did see clips of him summoning like a giant, giant dude shade thing. I don't know what you want to call it. Gigantosaurus. And then, he doesn't look like a dinosaur, but he looks like a really cool character. So what you play in the demo is you play as Nero, and so he has a sword and a gun, and then he also has an arm, like a robot arm called the Devil Breaker, and there's actually different Devil Breakers that you can pick up in the game that can do different things. So if square is shoot, triangle is sword, circle is your Devil Breaker. And it's very hack and slash, just like all the other ones.
Circle's my favorite. Devil Breaker. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, and then so you can get different Devil Breakers, and they allowed me to have 3 in the demo. And it was kind of interesting because one of them has I forget what it's called, but it has a rocket on it. And then so you can hold them to kind of change the effect that the Devil Breaker can do. And there's actually no dash or evade. But that Devil Breaker lets you, if you toggle it's kind of like secondary use or whatever, he can dodge around with it, and he'll blast off and kind of evade into different things. But it was done really well, like that one, and you can charge them all up too. So it's kind of, I saw an image somewhere of it. He's basically like Mega Man. He has the arm that can change and do different things with, and the other one was kind of really basic. When you held down circle, he would punch it, and it would blast enemies back. And then there was another one, but I really didn't play around with it too much because it kind of confused me. But it was really hard to kind of just play a demo one time through, because it's just kind of you just get a little nibble, you get a little taste, and it's how far can you really go with it?
Right.
They did show me a little bit of the upgrade system. So like I said earlier, Nero kind of travels around in the Devil May Cry van. And there's another character, I forget what her name is right now. But basically, it's really funny because the whole city's overtaken by demonic growth, really. But there's still telephone booths every once in a while. And so when you reach a telephone booth, you can call her on the phone. She'll drive the van, and then you can upgrade at the van. A lot similar to the GTA spin-off. Oh, what I'm trying to think of. What was with you play as the black guy in Louisiana?
Mafia 3?
Mafia 3.
Oh, yeah.
Just like in Mafia 3 where the guy can drive the van up to you. Or whatever. Okay. And so then that's where you upgrade your guns. And so it was really fun, and I'm really interested to see...
Did it play the old ones?
Yeah, in my opinion. But I also didn't really play a lot of the last one. So I played 1 through 3. But 4, I believe, was the one where you play as his son, and it was kind of like, I don't know, could kind of go either way. But this looks really good. I'd definitely be interested to see what people are saying. I'm definitely going to watch reviews, potentially wait for a price drop because it's a single-player game, and I know a single-player game isn't going to change that much.
Did you notice any glitches or anything that really caught your
The camera was a little wonky for me at first, but once I kind of got into it, there was one part where I was running up up the side of a building, and then it kind of drops over. But it's I couldn't see, without really rocking the camera, I really couldn't see what was over the peak.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of weird. And it was just a little wonky when I started fighting guys. I'm kind of it's just very reminiscent of what Devil May Cry has been like, where you're getting tons of enemies.
Right. Yeah, games like that in general seem to always have some slight camera issues.
Yeah. So
because it's hard, because if you're put into kind of a close quarter situation where you really need to have that free flowing camera, but then you get blocked in.
Yeah.
And it's either what are you going to do? Are you going to block people in? Or are you going to have an invisible wall that you can rock your camera through?
Right.
And then where you're playing with blackness under you, or with nothing under, you know what I mean? So it's kind of those are big choices you need to make. But I didn't really see a lot of close quarter stuff. Mostly I was kind of running around in the street, and then I would kind of be in park areas or kind of open areas where I would get into larger battles.
Well, that sounds pretty good. That's not too much to complain about. So that's
it was really good. It felt like a lot of the other Devil May Cry games, and it was cool to see. They have a video at the end of the demo where you can see some gameplay with Dante and V, the guy who can summon, and I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. Like I said, for me, it's definitely worth checking out. But I've also been a fan of some of the other games, and it's something to look forward to because it's coming out on the 5th of March, which is when this comes out in 2 days will be roughly a week from now. So that's kind of my first glance at Devil May Cry 5. But I am also looking forward to a couple other games coming out in March that we're going to talk about in the next episode.
All right. And to wrap up, we'll finish up with the question of the week one more time. What guys did you play in February? Or what guys? What games did you guys play in February that you enjoyed? And for the challenge of the week, send us any clip of you playing Metro Exodus. We'll see if we can throw it on the show.
One thing I would like to throw in before
the epic challenge, yes, please.
Not the epic challenge.
And also whatever else.
Well, I want to answer the question too before.
I wanted to say because I forgot to mention it, but specifically I wanted to mention this about Exodus is that I did say that the gunplay is pretty straightforward first person shooter, but the gun customization options are really nice.
I did see that too.
Really nice.
I think it looked like a really good game.
It suits any play style you want. If you want to be stealthy, you can be stealthy as hell. If you want to be full blown, and the best part is
pretty much like Wolfenstein.
You have a mobile workbench on your back. It's a backpack.
Okay, yeah.
So you can if the situation calls for it, and you have to go from stealthy to hardcore assault, then you can quickly get behind cover, throw your backpack down, swap out a couple mods on your gun.
Oh, nice.
And then, instead of having a 6x zoom scope on my sniper rifle with a long-ass barrel, I just put on, one of the glass scopes and just, still use the same rifle, but, for closer quarter combat and, stuff like that. So, that's really just super fun.
Nice.
And if you're fighting monsters, you don't need to be silent because they're going to know you're there.
Yeah.
So, I would take, the silencer off the pistol and replace it with a long barrel and just
start doing damage.
Massacre them.
Yeah.
So would you say that was your favorite game of February? To answer the question of the week for everyone, what was your favorite game to play in February?
Well,
what did you play in February that you enjoyed?
Resident Evil 2 was January, right?
Or no, February. I'm sorry. Did I say February?
He was asking when it came out.
Well, I think whatever you actually physically played in February.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's probably fine for
me. That's a tough call. Resident Evil 2 was great.
Yeah.
I really can't, Resident Evil 2 probably.
I'm pretty sure it was Anthem. Big fan of Anthem.
Shut up. Take control.
I don't know. I really I'm still playing Red Dead. That's still On my list,
it can be any game. I mean, you could.
That's gonna be it because I'm really like that's the one that drew me. That I was like, of all the games, it's like it called to me. And games don't do that very often. Where I'm like sitting somewhere, and I'm like, I wish I was playing this game.
Really?
So like, I was like, at first, I hated those controls for so long, but now it's just so natural. It's like, and I did myself the biggest favor of putting on an auto aim because I didn't want to deal with the clunky ass controls. Because it's frustrating. It's just like so satisfying to just like snap. Headshot.
Yeah. It's really easy in that game too.
It is, but like,
you really have to like. I learned.
You have to snap and tap.
I learned quickly, like
snap and tap. Yeah,
not so much about the aiming, but like the clunky movement and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just change up your playstyle a little bit and just like take your time to like move because it's not
right.
It's not supposed to be a snappy
right.
movement game like Assassin's Creed. It's
right. It is. It does give you time to be a little more methodical and slow moving with the reticle and stuff, but. Turning the dead zone all the way down helped a lot. Anyways,
my favorite game was Apex.
Well, hold on. We promised them the hardcore challenge.
Oh yeah. Well, my challenge to you guys, if you were so inclined, is in the Metro map, I believe it's called, in the first map of Metro. Just clear out all of the locations without using a workbench.
Okay.
Steve can pull that up.
Apex here.